Join us on Geek Blur, the show you can't ignore. Ray and Kevin diving deep into all things galore. Comic book, movie, sci-fi, and action thrill. Reviewing new TV shows, we keep it real, real. Reminiscing the attitude era, wrestling at its peak. Nostalgia from the 80s and 90s, memories we seek. Pineapples for our rings, a unique touch. Geek culture in our blood, we love it so much. Geek Blur forever, we love it so much. Geek Blur, where we talk about it all, from superheroes to wrestlers. We stand tall, Ray and Kevin, the dynamic duo in sight. Geek Blur, shining brighter, shining bright. Did you hear about Pluto? That's messed up, right? Geek Blur, taking you on a nostalgia flight. From movies to TV, we cover it all. Join us every week, we'll have a ball. Shuffle.
Hey.
Hey, Raymond, how are we?
What's happening? We're doing good.
Not much. I need you to grab like a pen and paper real quick. There's a couple things you need to jot down. These are very important
Also,
things.
Did you remember that today's show and tell? I want to remind
Of course
you
I
before
did.
we go
Of
too
course I
far.
did. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so when you get your pen and paper, you gotta write this one down. This is a very, very important thing.
Okay. Writing it down.
Hashtag ZSJL sold to Netflix. You have to capitalize Netflix, is what I'm told. That's
Wait,
a very important hashtag. ZSJL sold to Netflix. And then the other one is Zack Snyder's Justice League on Netflix. That's two hashtags. They came up this morning. I figured I'd throw them out there into the ether and see what happens. We got a lot to talk about today. That's something.
That's what happens when you're away for a week.
Fucking torn right now.
I am, however,
we will get into
it.
Yes.
I think we are at a. We'll talk about it.
Precipice.
Welcome everybody to episode 200. We took off last week for Thanksgiving, going into the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
So much happened this week, especially with the Warner Brothers stuff yesterday and today. And the world of Twitter is divided in so many ways. Hollywood Twitter, Snyder Twitter, DC Twitter, everything is divided.
Indeed.
We watched some great stuff. I watched some great documentaries, great shows. But first of the month, let's jump into a show and tell.
Yes.
So many geeky things that we could pull off from the shelf. We've been collecting shit for years and now we're whipping it out. So it's time to showcase all the money that we wasted well. C'est la vie, say the old folks. It's Geek Web Show and Tell. Why don't you go first?
Okay. I had something coming in the mail that I was going to show and I was super excited for.
Mm-hmm.
But Amazon, being Amazon dickheads that they are, it was a small package. They left it. So we already live on a private road. They left it like there's a set of mailboxes down here, and then ours is like, I don't know, 15, 20 yards up. And they left it underneath the mailboxes that aren't ours, so it's no longer there, and I got my refund. So I guess I'll go with plan B. They were Bret Hart sunglasses, by the way. They were dope. Because of all the Bret Hart stuff we've been talking about, or between ourselves, not really on the podcast. But I do have a backup, and you're gonna have to alert me to if this author comes around, I feel like you're a little bit more in tune with that type of stuff, so I can get it signed.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Smith's Green Arrow.
Oh, Kevin Smith. Nice.
It's fucking great.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's a big boy. This and fucking hold on a second.
I think it's heavy when you put it down. It like slam like an earthquake.
Yeah, that and this came packaged together,
Holy
and this is even bigger. And I'm too old to be picking up boxes that are that fucking heavy.
How do you read those? Do you sit down with it at a desk and like?
I have a like a almost like for like eating in bed tray table type thing.
Oh yeah.
It has like a spot for like remotes and stuff like that. I have that, and I have one of those old school things I got at my dad's house that my sister used to do her homework on when they were in the car traveling. It's basically just like a cardboard, and it has like a thing for your legs, like a cushion, like a padding.
Yeah.
So if I want to sit in my chair, I use that. But mostly the little like tray table thing that it fits well. Like if I'm just on my chair, I can just put it down. It works great. They are more difficult to read. I got Daredevil one the other day, Chip's Daredevil run, volume 1, and that omnibus is like it's just slightly bigger than a normal trade, which is nice. It's way more comfortable reading. It's like 400 pages versus like a fucking 1,000.
I have two things. Same thing, different covers. I bought 2 single issues. Last time I talked about the Revolutionary War.
You did.
We are coming up to the 250th anniversary.
Getting there.
There's a big documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel has come out with 1776.
Oh, nice.
A 4 or 5 issue. I can't remember. I think it's 5.
Is that brand new?
Miniseries. These are number 1s. One's a foil cover with Captain America.
I like that. You can barely see it. Turn off the green screen. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, these are number 1s. And
nice.
Captain America looking awesome in the Colonial. I guess it's the Avengers go back in time to the Revolutionary War, meet the founding fathers. All the lead up to,
check that out.
All leading up to the 250th anniversary of
nice.
The Declaration coming up this summer.
Nice. Yeah,
hashtag UFC. What is it? UFC this summer on the White House wall.
Yeah, I've been actually, due to the fact that I'm in the Discord and there's a bunch of Marvel people in there, I'm actually like for the first time in my life looking at like Marvel books to pull. Trying to branch out. As I told you, I inexplicably read 600 pages of Moon Knight this week.
You did.
That was fun.
A lot of Marvel fans,
and I was like, Jesus Christ, this book is amazing.
Marvel fans love Moon Knight.
Oh yeah,
and comic book Marvel fans, it's like they're one of their favorites. That Deadpool, of course,
which is probably why
for years.
I'm guessing that's a lot of the reasons why that show took so much flack too. Is they had such high hopes for that character, and rightfully so. After reading those 2 books, I think I still have the 3rd one to read.
Nice.
But yeah, Moon Knight's a blast. And Daredevil Punisher just started a run of them too, so I'm going to probably pick up issue number 1 of that. And
nice. Awesome.
Last thing in comic book news, since I just saw the article, Absolute Batman number 1 is back for its like 13th printing.
Wow.
Or some shit like that. Like they've sold
hear that nowadays.
Millions and millions and millions of that issue of that one comic book. Like millions. Because the first run was 500,000 they sold out. And this is like their 11th or 12th run or something like that I read. Like that's insane.
You do not hear that nowadays. No. Not at all.
Nope.
That's cool. Let's jump into what we watched this week. We watched a lot. We got some movies to review too. Some brand new ones that came out digitally. But first, let's talk about Welcome to Derry. You're all caught up on this, right? You watched episode 6.
Oh yeah.
We're all caught up.
I'm all caught up.
We'll talk about episode 5 happened last weekend. There was a debut of finally seeing Bill Skarsgård coming in and playing Pennywise. We knew that was coming. It's been teased for a while. And it was awesome. It was great. The kid that dies in the first episode, spoiler, there's spoilers, who gives a shit. He ends up coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids are like, well, where have you been all these months? And he's like, well, I've been hiding. There's a clown down in the sewers. Come down there. The minute I saw this kid, and everybody online says the same thing, you knew this kid was not probably real. Chances are it was going to be Pennywise, and sure enough, you go down into the sewer, and the kid starts dancing around a pole and slowly starts to morph into Pennywise. It was awesome visually. There's a lot of mechanics, a lot of stuff from the Stephen King universe is being brought into this show. The big thing being Dick Hallorann from The Shining. We've mentioned that before. And in this one, Pennywise has been kind of harassing him and stalking him to the point where he's opened up something in his mind that he was keeping back the shine a little bit, keeping back the visions of the dead people that Danny had in The Shining. Pennywise has opened that box up, this Pandora's box in his mind. Visually, you see it in the trailer, as you can see in the pictures if you're on YouTube. Bottom right corner is a picture of the box in his mind opened up. Pennywise finds the lock to that box, opens it up, and now Dick Hallorann sees ghosts everywhere, pretty much of where these people died. And the person that Pennywise kills in the sewer, one of the guys, he ends up seeing his ghost afterwards after Dick Hallorann comes out of the sewer. I love this actor who's playing Dick. I love the whole story with him being intertwined. I think you may have mentioned off pod. This is what Castle Rock wanted to be.
Yep. It just didn't get the viewership.
It's opening up, right? It's just opening up the Stephen King multiverse, universe, or whatever you want to call it, and connecting everything, which the books have already done, but now we're seeing it visually.
The reason why this works so well versus Castle Rock is they took a recently made IP and they had that be the indoor for the entire universe. Whereas with Castle Rock, it was just randomly random. Like it started off with like Stand By Me and like stuff like that. It wasn't like focused on one IP and then let everything else come into it, which feels way more natural. And I hope that it ends up connecting to the Carrie series that we'll get next year. But yeah, I'm loving this show.
Right.
Every
Mike
episode,
Flanagan too.
Yep. Every episode is just hitting. Every episode gets better. Because I was behind, and this is the show I caught up on as opposed to watching Stranger Things, which I watched the first episode of. We'll talk about that. Fantastic. But yeah, this show's awesome.
And this is only for the first episode we're going to talk about. The other thing there's a MacGuffin that they've introduced in this show, where the reason why Pennywise is kept into the city of Derry, the town of Derry, is there's these Indian artifacts. I can't remember what they call them. Cylinders. I can't remember what they call them, but they surround the town of Derry. The Indians put them there and keep them in like a prison in town. But they did keep one, and it's a weapon. If you're on YouTube, you see this weapon. It looks like almost like a little knife. There's an Indian girl that holds it way back in 1908, but it gets passed down generations. And I think her name's Betty or whatever her name is, the new girl in the current time, finds the weapon. And it actually in this episode it shows Pennywise being scared of this weapon and running away from it. It's supposedly a piece of his spaceship or a piece of whatever he landed in. We're not really sure. It's kind of what they explained in the show. But, that was episode 5. Episode 6 last week was awesome. We see Pennywise. This week's episode, by the way, going into episode 7 this Sunday, could be the best episode of television ever on HBO. And a lot of people are saying that. It's very gory. Very long, too. I saw somewhere an hour and 45 minutes. Did you see that?
I did not, but I am excited.
If it's an hour and 45 minutes, that's going to be awesome. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
What episode is it? Number 7, right? The penultimate?
Yeah, the penultimate episode this week. In which HBO is always known for the penultimate episodes being epic anyway. But we see Pennywise full form in this one. We see a flashback way back, right around 1920s, I think, where this not Beverly, I can't remember her name. The woman that works at the sanitarium.
It's just to interrupt you. It's an hour 5 minutes, so it was probably just a typo.
Okay, thank God. Typo. Yeah.
So yeah, it's still a little bit longer, but yeah, hour 5.
But we see her working at this sanitarium or this orphanage or somewhere, and these children start seeing Pennywise. We're saying 1920s, early 1920s, late 19-teens, and she starts giving these children to Pennywise down in the basement. And there's this gruesome scene where a kid gets murdered and ripped to shreds behind a door, and he takes this persona, which we knew was going to happen, of this circus clown named Bob Gray. We're going to get that whole background this weekend. but we did see the preview of Pennywise kind of taking that persona, and this guy ends up being the daughter of this woman. I don't remember. I wish I remember her name, but she's in the current time, and she's in the past as well. But anyway, without getting into all of that, that episode was awesome. We see little glimpses of what we're going to get this week.
I love and the thing
also
about this series I've loved. Sorry to cut you off. I do that from time to time. I'm on my 4th cup of coffee this afternoon. But the thing I really like about this series, and the reason why I've always loved it, not just the TV movie, not just the book. Like, it's kind of dumb, but at the same time, there's so much lore, and I'm such a huge fan of lore. And this show is giving you all the lore, which I absolutely,
and more.
It goes beyond what I wanted. And they're really teasing the future seasons being taking place in the past now. But the amount of lore you get from this show is just fantastic. Like, I've always loved the lore parts of the book almost more than the story of the actual kids that take place in the book. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this show right now.
Yeah, we're gonna get more connections to the current, like the more modern day It. We're gonna get more connections to that. There's a big spoiler. I don't want to get into it now. I'm not even sure if it's true or not, but there may be a Beverly March connection to this whole thing, with her father and all that. But it's awesome. The show is the best show on television right now, easily by far. And Machete is amazing. He is doing 3 seasons. Next season is going to be set in the 1930s. The other season is going to be set in 1908. So we're going way, way back to when Pennywise took over the clown persona. I'm not sure what we're going to be seeing this Sunday. We're going to be seeing glimpses of that, but we're going to get the full story 2 seasons from now. And I really hope they don't delay this every 2 years. This seems like a show they could film and put out every year if they really wanted to, like back in the day.
Here's my hope: is Muschietti allegedly still tied to the Batman movie?
Right.
I hope that they decide to push this forward. Of course, now everything's weird because the sale. We'll get to that, but I hope they decide to push this forward and do it every year or a year and a half. Just keep him busy, and then they can get somebody else for Batman.
Okay, yeah, I can see that too.
Because
there were some Batman nubs.
I think he would do a fine job with that, man. I'd rather him focus his talent and efforts into one property, and this is off to such a good start that I would prefer it to be that property.
I think this show blew a lot of people's minds. It blew a lot of their expectations too. I don't think anybody expected it to be as good as it's better than the fucking movies. I hate to say that, but the movies are great,
especially the second one's shit.
The second,
the first part of chapter 1 and the TV movie are both fantastic, and this blows both of them out of the water. The only thing is, and it doesn't even bother me. It's just the one thing that you can really pick it apart from, I guess, is the CGI. But then again, it's about a clown from outer space that can like transform, and like it's going to look goofy no matter how you do it. So it is what it is. That's the only thing you can pick apart from the show. That's a negative to me.
It's amazing. Everybody should be watching it. I'm surprised it took me this long to get into it, but I'm so into it. It's probably one of my favorite horror franchises.
Yeah, was it after chapter 1 that you got into it, or was it right before chapter 1?
It was before that. It was a few years before that. It was probably a decade ago. I mean, because that came out 2016, 17. So
17, Okay.
Let's get into what else we watched, because this is, I mean, we could talk about this forever. But the episode Sunday, we're going to talk about it next week. I cannot wait. Tulsa King had a finale. You probably haven't watched any of Tulsa King at all?
Nope.
Do you know the villain of this season?
I do not yet.
Do you remember?
Nope.
We've talked.
I know you've been waiting. You've been waiting to talk about it with me, but I have no idea.
We've talked about it on the podcast before. I didn't remember if you remembered, but it was great. Great season. It will be continuing in another season. It's definitely Sylvester Stallone's. It's made specifically for him, and he does a great job playing this character. Great casting and all around great show. And cannot wait for next season. And the other thing, I know we talked about this, Samuel L. Jackson. I will talk about that. They are making a spinoff of this show called Nola King, set in New Orleans. And he did debut in the final 2 episodes of this season, setting up that whatever that spinoff series is going to be. And they are currently filming that as well. So there's going to be another whole spinoff universe, kind of like they did with Yellowstone with this as well. milking every penny that they can from this franchise. But yeah, great series, season finale, definitely worth watching. Pluribus, you're behind, but we'll talk about it a little bit. This show is great. We are at a time right now where we have Stranger Things, Welcome to Derry, and Pluribus all releasing at once. It's a sci-fi wet dream right now on television.
Sure is.
And a lot of people probably don't know about Pluribus, and that's the problem. Just a normal average TV viewer should know about this show. It's fantastic. It's a whole new sci-fi story that has never been done. I don't even want to talk about it. I want people to watch it, but it only stars really one woman. And she's in Breaking Bad. Rhea.
It's actually pronounced Ray. It's actually pronounced Ray.
Okay.
Ray Seahorn.
Okay.
RHEA, but she pronounces it Ray. And she's awesome in Better Call Saul. You still have to finish that.
Yep, I do.
But yeah, she's fantastic and she's a star. I love anything that she's in. She's great.
Something happened in episode 6 that I cannot talk about because Kevin hasn't seen it yet. But when he sees it, I expect this text message that
I'll
is
be texting
simply,
you.
"Oh shit!"
Hopefully tonight. Okay.
There is something that I'm shocked that you haven't seen it because there's Twitter circles and that you follow and I follow that I've seen today. You probably will see it by the end of the weekend. I'm sure if you have not seen the episode by then, it will be spoiled for you because there's a certain Twitter audience that are definitely going to. It's not the Snyderverse, by the way. It's
okay.
Totally different, but it is something that we both follow pretty strongly. So
okay.
When you see it, maybe you even seen it and you didn't realize it yet. But Apple had reposted it today. So yeah, it's great. Great show. This is on Apple TV. So it's definitely worth the $9.99 a month. I think it is now, and it could be more. $10. I have no idea what it is. Definitely worth it. There's a lot of stuff. Severance is another great show on there. We always talk about Shrinking, Ted Lasso. There's a whole bunch of shit on there to watch. So yeah, a great show. Watch Pluribus as well. Speaking of sci-fi shows, you mentioned it before. I mentioned it. Stranger Things, season 5, volume 1. Debuted. I watched the whole thing. I think it was 4 episodes. Came out last week on Thanksgiving. The next 3 episodes come out on Christmas Day. The finale comes out on New Year's. This is awesome, and you don't know anything about it because you haven't watched 2, 3, and 4 yet.
Right.
So I'm not going to get into any spoilers.
I'm going to try to do like one a week.
Since
I've already avoided spoilers, I think I'm good from here on out. Because I'll do the next batch. Same thing. I'll do because I think there's 3 in the next batch, so I'll watch them throughout the week after, and then the finale comes out, and I'll watch that live. But yeah, I really enjoyed the first episode.
I will say this: the last 20 minutes is pretty fucking awesome.
I've heard that. I just haven't seen spoilers for it, so.
Yep. Yeah. There's a moment at the end that just like blows everything out of the park. Yeah, the only thing I want to see in this series, which you haven't seen yet, no spoiler because you haven't seen it. I would love to see Eddie come back, Joseph Quinn, just in a quick cameo.
I was just cameo, flashback.
So
yep.
Yeah, Dustin is so connected to that character; he's turning into him. And I would love to see him kind of saying his goodbyes to him by the end. Yeah, we'll get into this more as you go on, as we get closer to the finale. But great show. On Netflix currently, if you want to watch these 4 episodes, it's great. Now let's talk about some other stuff. That's the sci-fi. We got that out of the way. There is a documentary that came out 2 days ago on Netflix.
Yes, sir.
As you can tell by my background in the cheese grater, I'm definitely reminiscent of the 90s music videos starring Puff Daddy and Mace. However, there's a documentary produced by 50 Cent called Sean Combs, The Reckoning, all about Puff Daddy, all about this whole thing that he's pretty much an asshole. And when you get out of this, you lose a lot of respect for him. If you loved his music, if you just loved his personality back in the day, you realize how manipulative this guy is, not just to women, but the people that he worked with. It's crazy. 4 episodes, I think, 4-hour episodes.
4 episodes, yep.
And it talked a lot about the rise and how he became the mogul that he is. The second episode tackled Biggie, which was awesome.
Great
Third
episode.
episode tackled his rise after Biggie and how he became superstar after Biggie's death, kind of milking that, milking his death. And then the fourth episode talked all about the controversies in the current time with him being arrested recently, being in prison now, being tried. He eventually got off from that, going to be in prison for 50 months. And he's going to be getting out sometime next year, I believe, or the year after. I can't remember, but with time served. But this is a great documentary on Netflix. 50 Cent kind of taking a victory lap for this documentary. He's been talking shit about Puffy for years. And yeah, it's a great documentary, worth watching on Netflix. Definitely check it out if you're into hip hop from the 90s. They talk a lot about Biggie and talk a lot about Tupac too. And there's speculation always has been that was Puffy involved in that. There's a lot of truths that may have come out in this. There's an FBI or LAPD detective in this documentary, which you've heard about him before, who had an interview with Keefe D, who way back, like 2005, was talking about Puffy being involved in the murder of Tupac. And not only that, but the shooting when he got shot up at the studio and Biggie was upstairs, was Puffy involved with that, and the robbery. There's a whole bunch of controversies around his
he's
life.
involved in everything.
So, yeah. Was he involved in Biggie's death? That was always been the rumor too. So yeah, great documentary on Netflix. Let's talk about some movies that we're going to review. Brand new movies just came out of theaters on digital now. First one I'm going to talk about is Roofman. Have you had a chance to see Roofman?
Yeah, I watched it a long time ago.
Like
when it first came out online, yeah.
Good movie. Not my favorite movie of the year. Yeah. It was fun.
It was cool.
Channing Tatum is funny. Should be more roles like this. He's also a great dramatic actor when he wants to be. He gets shit on because of course, all the stripper movies that he did. But he was good in this movie. He plays a thief who robs a whole bunch of McDonald's, gets found out, and goes to prison and escapes prison, and goes on the run and moves into this town. I think it's Charlotte, North Carolina. And he starts hiding out in a Toys R Us, and he starts kind of mingling into the town and becoming part of the town. Donating toys that he stole from Toys R Us. He meets a woman that works at Toys R Us, starts dating her, and then she inevitably turns him in to the police. And he's currently in jail now, I think, for another 10 years. But this is a great movie. Kirsten Dunst in this as well. Peter Dinklage. I can't remember his name from Atlanta. Do you remember his name? The black guy. He's in Get Out too. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Stanfield. Lakeith Stanfield. Is that it? Yeah. He's in this too. Yeah, but a great movie, worth seeing. Called Roofman. Probably like a 3.5 out of 5. Not the best movie of the year, but definitely worth seeing.
It's fun.
Fun movie. Another movie, kind of on the same level, 3.5 out of 5 for me, was Good Fortune. Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen, written, directed by Aziz Ansari, who was in Parks and Recreation. Keanu Reeves plays an angel, who's an angel for texting and driving, and he sees how Aziz Ansari's life is so horrible that he kind of goes out of that element of texting and driving and starts to try to change his life, and he does. He switches his life with Seth Rogen's life, who's a Hollywood insider who invests a lot of money. He's very rich, and Aziz takes over his life. It's an okay story. 3.5 out of 5. Probably one of the worst Seth Rogen movies in recent years. And that's saying a lot because there's a lot of good ones, but 3.5 out of 5 is a pretty good rating for that. It's a decent movie.
Okay.
A movie I was high on, One Battle After Another. I did like this movie.
Very good.
It's Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro. Great movie. Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't know what else he's directed off the top of my head.
The movie that is currently inspiring my bathrobe look.
Oh yeah, The Big
Lebowski.
Yeah. But yeah, the movie's great. probably a 4 out of 5 for me.
Yep.
There were some slow parts to it, but Leo just acting his ass off. He should do more comedic / dramatic roles like this. He does a lot of dramas. Something like this opens him up a lot more. And I like this overall story. It kind of is like it's kind of like futuristic. You get that feeling when you watch this movie, kind of in a future where the world is more racist and sexist, I guess.
Yeah, it seems kind of like alternate type thing, kind of like kind of like The Long Walk. Kind of feels like an alternate type of deal.
Yeah, you kind of get that feeling from the movie, but yeah, it's a decent movie though. Definitely worth watching. These 3 movies definitely worth seeing at least once. No duds in the bunch, at least I can say that much. But yeah, and you watched another movie, and I don't want you to give me too much.
I'm not giving you shit.
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm not giving you nothing.
I'm gonna watch it next Friday.
We'll be talking about it in 2 weeks. We'll be talking about it.
But mostly, I want to hear about your theater experience because you did go to Alamo Drafthouse, but you watched Wake Up Dead Man, the new Knives Out movie,
which I will not be talking about at this current time. I'll just say it's on Netflix December 12th, which is next Friday, right?
I'm gonna watch it next Friday morning, and we're gonna talk about it Friday's episode.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. If you like the first 2, watch it. That's all I'll say. But yes, I went to the Alamo Drafthouse, which was a great experience. I'm glad there isn't one around here because it'd be tough to pay that much money every time you go to the theater.
Right.
Well, basically, you show them your ticket or whatever. They let you into. There's a merch area and a bar area. They didn't have any left, but they still had them on display. They had their own Alamo Drafthouse, like beer glasses for the Fantastic Four movie. That's and cool. Jurassic World and Superman, I believe, were on display, or like we saw them in pamphlets. So they do like special like merch for their own draft house, stuff like that. We got a beer at the bar, then we made our way in. They have very strict no cell phone policy. But as you walk towards the theater, there's old timey photos from different countries of like popular movies, and they kind of seem like it starts like in the 20s and goes all the way up to like the 90s and 2000s as you get closer to the theater, which is kind of cool. But yeah, you sit down. Each seat has an adjustable tray table. Each seat is heated lounge chairs, so you sit back in them. You scan a little QR code, and it brings up the menu. You select everything off the menu. You put in your credit card. Bada bing, bada boom. They bring stuff to your table. They only show 3 trailers. Great touch. They opened the doors. It was a quote unquote 6 o'clock show, but they let you know beforehand you have about a half an hour of stuff leading up to the movie. So basically, you get in. They show 15-20 minute reel of what inspired Knives Out, or what inspired Wake Up Dead Man. They show a couple clips of Aziz saying, put your cell phones away. They intermix a couple trailers with other just random ads for food and whatnot. Anyways, so yeah, I ordered on the app. They brought my food. I got the chicken tenders with their they have like a habanero barbecue. It tasted like they just chopped up habanero peppers and tossed it in Sweet Baby Ray's. But it was good. It was fine. Their fries were fantastic. You can get them loaded with cheddar and bacon if you want. Literally one of the best fries I've ever eaten in my life. It was weird. Chicken was just okay. Beer selection was good. They have like 30 beers on draft. They have a bunch of different ice cream shakes you can get. They're all seasonal right now. Or you can get a regular chocolate or vanilla shake if you want. Then once they had the final no cell phone thing, it was Ryan Johnson telling you, no cell phones, blah, 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 put them away. Once the movie starts, basically you have like what you have on an airplane, like you have a call button. So whatever you want to order, you basically just write down and you put it in the thing, and then you hit the call button, and the waiter comes by, grabs it, and then brings you a round of drinks or food, whatever. Some of the specialty food they have was the one I remember most is they have about 5 or 6 different kinds of popcorn. The popcorn is only $12 and is only one size, and it's refillable for the entire movie, which is cool. Awesome. One of the popcorns they had, and next time I go back, I'm going to try this one out, is they had a churro popcorn. So the popcorn was tossed with churro pieces cinnamon, sugar, and butter.
Wow.
We'll be trying that next time, as well as their churro milkshake, which has pieces of churros in it, and it's a cinnamon vanilla base. Overall, incredible experience. The only thing I wish is, like I said, they had heated seats, and they only have like 2 settings. They need like a third setting because it's like burn your ass off hot and hot. There's no like just slightly warm. So I kept fiddling, like kept turning on like hot and then medium and then off and then like redoing that throughout the movie. But yeah, great experience. We'll go back. We got a beer afterwards at the bar and whatnot. It was on like the 3rd level. This place is like a nightclub under us. Overall, definitely would recommend if you can go to an Alamo Draft House at least once. I mean, it was an expensive night. Between the beers, which honestly weren't that bad considering we were in Boston, they were like $6 or $8 a piece. But the food's a little bit pricey. But I was there to have a good time. And my cousin took care of the ticket, so I didn't really care about paying for food and drinks, stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, would recommend.
Cool. Yeah. Cannot wait to talk about this movie next week. I'll watch it and we'll talk about it Friday. Another thing we're going to talk about before we get into news, you started watching during the snowstorm this week. You started watching a show you always talk about. You've seen it before. You watched a rewatch for season 1 of Oz.
Yes.
Which has been off TV for what, 25 years now?
God.
Something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, this was the first show I ever binge watched. And I think you had brought it up that it's on streaming service there, the Plex that we have.
Just added
so I was like, you know what? I think it was snowing out, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this. Like the first show I ever binged, it was during a snowstorm. I think I binged it in like 5 days. It was right when I got access to HBO Go, if you remember those days. HBO, you couldn't even have the streaming service. It wasn't even on like an app for your TV. You could only watch it online. So I sat down and watched it online during a snowstorm when it snowed for like 3 or 4 days back in like 2011. So basically the show is about prison, obviously, you know that. It takes place at the Oswald State Penitentiary in New York, Oz. And basically the show is about this brainchild of a very liberal person that's trying to make the inmates' lives better. He builds within the prisons of Oz Emerald City. So you have like A block, B block, C, D, then you have Emerald City. So the first season basically deals with Emerald City and the inhabitants. The only other place in the prison you go to, you get a little bit of the yard in that season. You get the mess hall and you get death row, or like the 4 main areas you see that season. As the show progresses, you end up going to different blocks and stuff like that. So basically it's run by Tim McManus, who's an actor who's in the movie Sleepers, and Warden Leo Glenn, played by Winston from Ghostbusters. Fucking great in this show. Fucking incredible. Jefferson Keane is big in the early episodes, played by Leon, obviously of Cool Runnings fame. But then you get to my favorite relationships and 2 of my favorite people in the show. And that is Vern Schillinger, played by J.K. Simmons, who leads the Aryan Nation in prison. And his cellmate, played by, I don't even know the guy's name. He's been in a bunch. He's one of those guys where you've probably seen him like fucking Law and Order or stuff like that. But basically, his name is Beecher. He was a lawyer. He had 1 martini too much for lunch, and he killed a 12-year-old girl with his car. So he's like the audience's in. People that haven't been to prison, some that shouldn't be in prison, but due to a shitty situation is in prison. And his relationship with Schillinger is fucking insane throughout the course, like what these 2 do to each other and the cat and mouse, the back and forth. Very solid. Then you have Kareem Saeed, comes in the first episode. He's basically like a Malcolm X character, Muslim guy, one of my favorite characters on TV history. You have the lady prison guard who leaves after season 3 because she is played by Tony Soprano's wife. So that show had just gotten picked up for the 2nd season. So she left Oz to continue that show. Dr. Nathan, played by LaGuardia, about 10 years before Dexter. She's fucking great. She's the prison nurse. Inmates fall in love with her throughout the 6 seasons it's on. So she gets a lot of heavy storylines. And then, of course, there is Ryan O'Reilly, my favorite character in this show. He is an Irish guy. He doesn't participate in any of like the rapes or like he's like pretty clean like that way. But he's basically Oz's version of Littlefinger, to where he's just manipulating people so that he can get out of any situation. So he plays like the side of the game on both areas. Right. And it's great to like watch him like basically manipulate other people to do his bidding because he doesn't get his hands dirty. And he's a real douchebag, but he has a lot of like heart once you get into the second season because a member of his family ends up in prison with him and he basically has to take care of him. Great character. Adebisi is another great character. He's from Africa. He's played by the guy that played Killer Croc in Suicide Squad. He was also on Game of Thrones for an episode. I can't remember the guy's name. Fantastic character. The priest is played by B.D. Wong, who's in the Jurassic Park movies, who's in Law and Order. You've seen him in a million things, I'm sure. And then they have every episode as like they'll do like a little backstory as to how this person got to prison, show like how they got to prison. There's a guy in a wheelchair, and he provides all the expo dumps. His name's Augustus Hill. You've seen him in a million things. He was in Lost. He was in a bunch of stuff. I don't know his name either. He's probably been in the MCU because everyone's been in the MCU. But he's one of those guys that like if you saw him, you'd be like, I know that guy. And this whole first season leads to a big altercation at the end is all I'll say. And this show is really, really outlandish and stupid. It's basically like, it's a lot of political stuff, but it just so happens to be about prison politics. Cause like the governor is like this hardcore, like Republican who hates Tim McManus, who's a hardcore liberal. They might even use the word libtard on the show. I don't know. But yeah, overall, really enjoy it. And I'm glad I watched the first season. And I've been kind of watching it like on in the background when I play like Madden or something like that as I progress. So yeah, I love that show. I haven't talked about much in this pod, but I'm glad I watched it and was able to get that out.
Awesome. Yeah. That's a show I may watch sometime.
Ryan O'Reilly is
stuff to watch.
The guy next to Kareem Saeed with the thing on his head. He does all the insurance commercials. Yeah. Is it Geico or he's in all of the insurance commercials? Yep. He was on
Law and Order Parks and Rec too. Not Parks and Rec.
Sarah Connor Chronicles. He was on Sarah Connor Chronicles as John Connor's surrogate father. Yeah. He's so good in this show.
Awesome. With that being said, let's get into the news. And it's not a news segment, it's a trailer roundup. Got some new trailers to talk about. First one is a movie called How to Make a Killing, starring Glenn Powell, Margaret Qualley. A24 movie about this guy. Film follows a heir to a major family fortune who decides to murder all the other heirs to inherit $28 billion. Comes out February 20th. Another Glenn Powell starring film. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Trailer looked decent. Another movie reminiscent of an 80s crime drama of somebody robbing a bank, starring Bill Skarsgård. Coming from Gus Van Sant, a movie called Dead Man's Wire, based off a true story about this guy who holds I believe it's a bank. I haven't seen this trailer in a couple weeks, so I think it's bank hostage. Coleman Domingo's in this. Al Pacino has a cameo. Al Pacino did a movie similar to this I talked about a few months ago. Can't remember the
question.
Dog Day Afternoon.
Gus Van Sant did the remake to Psycho, right?
I believe.
What was the big movie he did? He like won an Oscar, and then I believe they were like, you can do any movie, and he did like a shot-for-shot remake of Psycho, I believe. But he won.
Okay, is that him?
I believe so. I believe so. But
Carrie Elways is. Yeah. But yeah, Bill Skarsgård doing Bill Skarsgård things. Definitely an underrated actor who's amazing and stuff like this.
Good cast.
Yeah, good cast. So we'll see how when this comes out. Brand new trailer for the reboot of Scrubs coming on Hulu on February 25th.
Yep.
See all the characters all
aged and
grown up.
Were you a Scrubs fan?
20.
I can't remember.
I watched my first episode of Scrubs, first season of Scrubs during the pandemic, so I was
Okay.
home watching that.
Gotcha.
Very first episode I ever watched, and it's a good, decent show. Funny, very funny. Coming back on Hulu in February. Got a brand new poster, a brand new trailer for the new 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Continuation of the 28 years later that happened earlier this year. Comes out on January 14th. It's definitely just a continuation of that. But the one thing we're going to talk about this week, I know you're very excited about it, is the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Comes out January 18th. See Duncan Egg. We see him talking. The show has already been picked up for a second season.
I can't remember.
Start shooting the end of this month.
I probably spoiled it for you because it was probably before the show even became a thing. Do you remember who Egg is? Don't say it, but do you remember? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's a brother of somebody.
I think
right?
we talked. Yep, we talked about it. Okay,
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
yeah.
Apparently, that's a big spoiler. So, oops. But I heard about it long before the show was even announced. It was just one of those things that you just kind of know about and more. But yeah, this show looks great. It's gonna be nice to have just a regular show about regular people living in Westeros during this time, even though he's a little bit more than regular because he's trying to become a knight. But it'll be nice to see like a show that's not about like
dragons,
somebody trying to take the throne and dragons. Like it'll be nice to see like what the regular people of like King's Landing and Westeros are just like. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, just regular, no sci-fi lore, just kind of normal, everyday.
There will be no dragons.
Medieval,
so
yeah.
Might see some familiar faces. We'll see. I don't know.
Set 100 years, correct, before Game of Thrones.
Yep. A few characters from Game of Thrones would be alive during this time.
Okay, cool. Weekend box office 2 weeks ago. Wicked for Good, first weekend at the box office, won the weekend with 150 million. Now You See Me, Now You Don't, second week, 9.1. Predator Badlands, 6.2. Wicked for Good was number one. And it was the second biggest opening behind Minecraft movie earlier in the year, and Lilo and Stitch as well. Also, global box office, 226 million, fourth biggest box office of the year globally. It was huge. It did huge numbers. And plans became underway for future movies in the Wicked universe. I don't think I have it in the notes, but the guy who directed it signed a deal with Paramount. I can't remember where he signed it. He signed a deal, exclusive deal with them. So he's not going to be doing this. This is a Universal film. So I'll have to wait and see. I know the guy who created the book, wrote the book, McGuire, I think his name is writing new books. Always writing. This is based off a whole series of books. So. And plus, it's Oz, so you can continue this story in multiple ways. So I still have not seen it. I want to see it, but it'll probably be one of those things I'll see when it comes out digitally, unfortunately. But last weekend, holiday weekend, was a big weekend for Zootopia 2. I haven't even seen the first one. Disney movie, animated movie, 5-day weekend, $156 million, huge numbers. Wicked for Good, 93 million in the 5-day weekend, and Now You See Me, Now You Don't, 10 million. Zootopia 2 scores the fourth biggest global debut in box office history with $556 million, including a record $272 million in China alone, just last weekend alone. Big numbers. And China is one of those countries that is very strict on what they show on cinema screens. You always hear about them delaying movies and editing movies down, or not even releasing Marvel movies because of agendas that they try to put through there. But Stranger Things season 5 debuted with 59.6 million views in the first 5 days. It's the biggest premiere of any English language show in Netflix history. Huge numbers for that. Speaking of Netflix, we are in a
this is old news now.
Roller. Well, we're going to go into the timeline of how this all started. Warner Brothers. December 1st was a deadline for the second round of bids. And when we left, we were talking about the first round came in, and they were all low. So Warner Brothers asked for more bids, higher bids. December 1st rolls along, and Netflix ends up giving them the highest bid. Before we get into that, I have some stuff we'll talk about. Universal they were already talking about merging with Warner Brothers. They were going to unify all of their theme parks and everything there, and they're also excited to have the Harry Potter universe brought into the Universal universe and being one, because the Universal Studios, of course, has a big, huge Harry Potter universe. That all came out around the same time. Also reminded me that Universal, Comcast, is also splitting up all their companies, kind of reminiscent of what Warner Brothers is doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a brand new company called Versant, which is going to be all their cable networks, which is USA Network, CSNBC, or CNBC, MSNBC, Oxygen E, all that stuff is going to be a whole other separate company other than Comcast and Universal and NBC. Remember back in the day, I mean, we still remember because we watched wrestling, USA Network was always connected to NBC. Well, that's not going to be the case anymore going into the new year. I didn't want to bring that up. I was going to bring this up with more information until the news broke today. But Netflix makes the highest bid in the second round of bids. And then after that, we found out that offer was all cash. They were arranging mega loan money to get the money for this Netflix. After this, we get more news about the Department of Justice saying if Netflix wins the bidding battle to control HBO Max and Warner Brothers, Trump's DOJ antitrust is going to go after them, which we've talked about for a while. There's some shady shit going on here, where this started way back earlier in the year with Stephen Colbert and the Paramount deal, and Trump being on Paramount, all of a sudden being like pro Paramount after all the shit he was talking about Stephen Colbert. And everybody's speculating that there's something secretly going on here. Even though he denies it, there's some sort of a government manipulation here, which is the worst thing you can do for a new studio that's going to be merging together. We're not political. We don't talk about it on the podcast, but that would be the worst case scenario of the three companies that were going after Warner Brothers. That would have been bad. Having a government-backed company it's kind of like the whole fake news thing with Donald Trump. This would be him controlling the narrative of whatever comes out of Paramount. Not good for us as a consumer. And then you see news, I think it was earlier yesterday morning, that the Paramount company started writing open letters to about accusing Warner Brothers and Discovery of unfair bidding practices and favoring Netflix in the letter because they knew they were losing yesterday morning. Up until I think they wrote another letter yesterday afternoon, and then also Warner Brothers asked for a third round of bids yesterday afternoon between Paramount, Netflix, and Comcast. And if pretty much what's being said is Paramount is threatening to do a hostile takeover if they don't get this company. Still threatening it to even now after the announcement was made today, which we're going to get into. But and then a whole bunch of other stuff happened. Industry insiders realized that Netflix was winning out, and they started sending urgent letters to Congress members, warning them of economic and institutional meltdown if Hollywood if they were to see Netflix succeeding in this. So what happens today? Netflix won the bidding war. Netflix is officially the new owners, if it gets approved, of Warner Brothers. And a $5 million, they had a $5 million breakup deal if this all didn't work out, but it did this morning. We'll get into the specifics in a minute, but just for clarification, if Paramount wanted to do a takeover, they would just need 20% of all Warner Brothers stockholders to give them their stake in order to do a hostile takeover. We'll get back into that if that happens. Who knows? But they did announce it earlier this morning. They put a press release out, Netflix and Warner Brothers, $82.7 billion. And they're the biggest thing we're going to talk about in a minute, but they're expecting to maintain the studio's current operations, including theatrical releases for movies. And that's the big thing that we need to talk about, because Netflix known for not giving a fuck about theatrical. We've talked about it on here multiple times. And they're bringing one of the biggest movie studios, one of the biggest box office makers into their fold. And that is a threat to Hollywood. That is a threat to movie makers. When you go on Twitter today, a lot of actors, a lot of creators, a lot of directors are going on there saying this deal is bad for us. Deal is bad for America. Let's see, what else can we talk about? The Netflix and Fox, the Disney and Fox deal came out a couple of years ago, 71.3. Netflix and Warner Brothers, $10 billion more. So it's higher than that. Came out with a couple of statements. Ted Sarandos of Netflix said, our mission has always been to entertain the world, but by combining Warner Brothers' legendary library of shows and movies from timeless classics like Casablanca, Citizen Kane, Harry Potter, Friends, and mixing them in with their own IP, of course, Squid Game, Stranger Things, we'll be able to do that even better. Together, we can give audiences more of what they love and help define the next century of storytelling. Zaslav, CEO of Warner Brothers, had a statement as well. Today's announcement combines two of the greatest storytelling companies in the world to bring in even more people the entertainment they love to watch the most. For more than a century, Warner Brothers has thrilled audience, captured the world's attention, and shaped our culture. By coming together with Netflix, we will ensure people everywhere will continue to enjoy the world's most resonant stories for generations to come. Talk about the properties that Netflix will own now. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, HBO and HBO Max, HBO the cable company, we'll get into that, Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo, I mentioned Casablanca, Wizard of Oz, the original, Gone with the Wind, The Exorcist, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Conjuring universe, the It franchise, Gremlins, the Elf movie, which is huge at Christmas time, and Wonka. And the big one we're going to get into at the end of this, because we have a lot of speculations, is DC Studios. Where do we go from here? We'll talk about it in a minute. Not included in this, the Discovery side, which Warner Brothers, what did they get this? Just 5 years ago? They just got Discovery Plus and all that?
Yeah, they got it about that. They bought it after AT&T ran it into the ground. AT&T bought it in 2018 for $80 billion. They ran it into the ground. Zaslav bought it in early 22 or late 21 for $40 billion. And all this time he's been cutting costs, cutting things. People have been hating on him, but he did exactly what he needed to do to get the price of the studio back up. So
what's not included in this deal, the Discovery side, that's all going to be spun off into a new company called Discovery Global. That includes Discovery Plus, their streaming service. So HGTV, CNN, TNT, TBS, Food Network, all of that stuff going into a whole other streaming service, whole other conglomerate. They're going to be separated from this deal. And the big thing from this, like I mentioned, is theatrical. Netflix is saying Warner Brothers movies will remain in theaters, but windows will evolve to be much more consumer friendly.
Right.
Ted Sarandos came out today. My pushback has been mostly in the fact of the long exclusive windows, which we don't really think are that consumer friendly. That's a big quote that came out today, pretty much.
I just don't trust him. I don't trust him.
Right.
Especially, hold on, let me scroll up real quick. What worries me is when he talked about basically about how those things are going to flex out. Like, I think eventually they're just going to get rid of putting anything in theaters. Like when they first get Warner Brothers, I think for the first 5 or 6 years, they'll continue to put things in slowly trim back on that and see what works for them business-wise in theaters and what doesn't. And that worries me. Also, no mention of physical media worries me. Just because that's another avenue for them to make money. And as a consumer, it goes against their business model entirely of what they do at Netflix to put things out. So
at the end of this statement, it says, quote, but our primary goal is to bring first-run movies to our members because that's what they're looking for. So they're looking for that. And like you mentioned, even in this, I think over time, the windows will evolve to be much more consumer-friendly to be able to meet the audiences where they are quicker.
What I'm talking about. Eventually, it's going to be cut down to, I feel like we're going to be getting 14-day release windows. And honestly, if our Netflix, I would do because depending, most movies don't do well after the second weekend in general. So I would think about doing maybe like 3 weeks, depending on how the movie is doing itself in theaters.
Right.
Taking it off and then putting it on Netflix or Max like a month later. I think that's a good compromise. Do like a 3-week window, 14 to 21 days. That way, everyone that wants to see it in theaters should have the chance to. So, and then they can put it on Netflix or whatever.
I don't think it's fair to say that Netflix is killing the movie industry or killing the theatrical experience when the theatrical experience is kind of slowly dying. Not a lot of people, besides these animated movies, have been doing huge numbers lately.
Right.
Not a lot of people are going to the movie theater,
and not a lot
of
the
reason why
theaters. Not a lot of theaters in general are very consumer friendly in the fact that, like, when we went to see the Batman, those seats we sat in fucking trash.
They were bad.
I've been to a lot of Regals, and we have by far the best one for seating. A lot of them are like the one that we saw that was an AMC, or a lot of them were like the one we went to saw the Batman at.
How was Alamo Drafthouse seating? I might as well get into that because I was going to ask you.
I told you they're
decent seats.
They're like ours. They reclined except they had heat. That was the only difference, is they were heated. The leg part was heated too, so it was great. Like that again is like, and like Alamo Drafthouse is a great experience, but then again, I probably dropped.
You're paying a ton
$70.
of money.
I probably dropped $70 that night just to eat at a movie theater and have a few drinks and for the ticket or whatever. Like, so like not everyone's going to do that all the time, even though it's a great experience and it's great for the consumer. The Regal passes are the best thing that's happened to theaters in a long time, if you ask me, because that at least gets people going to theaters and buying concessions and stuff like that. I'm just really nervous for the industry in general. Because I know people, I have somebody in my Discord that works in the industry, and he's not happy about this because this is less jobs for people that work within the industry at the end of the day, which is not a good thing.
And that's going to be the government.
Netflix is also an analytical based, not a not an art based form of creating movies, to where they run analytics. And so if a director has an idea, they'll just say, that's not going to fit with our analytic department. A movie like Sinners never would have been made by Netflix. A movie like Weapons probably never would have been made by Netflix. So that's where my issues lie. I do think it's better than Paramount. And
by far better.
From what I've been told, a lot of people are not happy about what Ellison has been saying. And he's kind of been an embarrassment for the company in the last 2 or 3 days. Before this news broke today, that was going to be my point today.
Yep. That Paramount is diving that company from all the shit he's been saying this week. About pretty much talking shit about everybody else. He just sounds like every other Trumper in the world right now.
Yeah.
Whining and complaining. Of course, theater owners slamming this, saying it's a threat to the movie business, like we're talking about now. Jane Fonda, famous actor, and a whole bunch of other actors are behind her in this op-ed that she wrote, talking about maybe breaking the First Amendment rights and all this and that. And the Directors Guild of America, run by Christopher Nolan, going to be talking and meeting with Netflix to discuss their concerns about the streamers' acquisition of Warner Brothers as well. 3 major questions go into this. Number one, what happens to the HBO network? We have HBO Max. Is it going to merge with Netflix eventually?
I think eventually we're going to get what Disney has, where you go to Disney Plus and you get the Hulu tab and the whatever tab.
That's probably perfect analogy.
Yep.
The other thing is HBO, the cable company. Is this like the end of cable? Are they going to just take that channel and just say, fuck it, we'll just do an app and get rid of cable altogether? Netflix has no cable deals, no television deals besides their own. Why give somebody else an option to watch a cable network when we can give them the option to watch our own app, our own a la carte app on Netflix?
They could roll HBO into that and basically have it be go to Netflix, pay for Netflix.
That's my thought.
Pay extra for HBO Live. Then you can watch HBO Live, or you can just pay whatever they have when they integrate it with Max. Or maybe they'd put on the HBO for free with Max. I don't know.
People say that this is the death of cinema. I think this is more of the death of cable more than anything. I think this is kind of like, why is there still YouTube TV? Why is there still Hulu Live TV? I know local channels, maybe there could be a way of doing something separate. Sports is the only thing you can think of, but even that, ESPN has a new sports app. There's a new other one that has all the other sports.
You can go anywhere to find a game. Even Paramount Plus has your local game. So anyone that needs to watch their local team only doesn't have to pay. Say you live in you don't have to pay for any app for that. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more of a death of cable than anything. Second question. We already talked about what happens to theatrical releases. What's going to happen overall? They're talking about keeping these companies separate now. But what's going to happen 5 years from now when they want to combine these, kind of like with Hulu and Disney? That's a great analogy that you mentioned. What's going to happen 5 years from now when they want to combine Netflix and Warner Brothers completely into one app? It will happen. Is that going to fuck with theatrical releases? Is the studio, if they combine the studios together, is theatrical just going to go out the window? Or are we going to even have a theater experience anymore 10 years from now, 5 years from now? Who knows?
Who the fuck knows?
The biggest question pertaining to this podcast, what happens to DC Studios? What happens to James Gunn? What happens to the Snyderverse? What happens to anything that's been DC Comics related in the last 5 years and the upcoming slate?
I think James Gunn has been assured.
Yes, I think so
due to the fact that, I don't know if you saw this tweet, but somebody said, it was either yesterday or it might have been the day before in the last couple of days, James, please tell me everything's going to be all right. And his only response was, everything's going to be better than all right. So I assume that might be about what's going to happen with DC Studios. I assume he's been given assurances. I think they might be waiting on... For all we know, he could be in negotiating right now his contract. He could be negotiating it right now. And so he knows his job is secure for at least another couple of years. As far as the Snyderverse stuff goes, that's tricky. Because depending on who you believe, depending on who you believe, Zach is currently not at Netflix. In fact, Zach left Netflix because they were haggling over $20 million for his LAPD movie. Because Netflix probably did the analytics and said, this is how much money we're willing to spend on a property like that. Like I said, they're run by analytics. They're anti-art is essentially what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Zaslav's apparently signed to be in charge of DC till 2030 or Warner Brothers. Allegedly, in this agreement with Netflix, he can either keep that job or there's a buyout option, from what I heard today. James Gunn, Peter Safran, Abby and DeLuca are apparently safe, from what people in the know are saying. Of course, Abby and DeLuca just got their contracts were renegotiated or not. I assume the same thing's happening with Gunn and Safran right now. So if you take the timeline of everything, the earliest Zach would probably be available would be like 2032 because he has like 2 other projects he's working on right now. Ben Affleck's going to be 60. Right. Jason Momoa will already have been Lobo for 8 years at that point or whatever, 6 years. Jared Leto's got character issues. Gail Gadot's a Zionist, allegedly. Ezra Miller is... Well, we have the sounder of Ezra Miller's issues.
Where is Ezra Miller?
Basically, I think the Snyderverse doesn't have a chance of coming back because of everyone...
Timeline. You're right.
Timeline and the fact that there's problems with some of the actors that are in major positions, which could be an issue. And also, those films cost a lot of money. And if they're haggling over $20 million... What's going to happen when Zach says for Justice League 2 and 3, I need $250 million for each movie? Outside of Stranger Things, Netflix just cancels shit when they're told by the creators that they need more money for projects. I don't think the Snyderverse would ever have a chance of coming back. I think James Gunn will be around for a while.
Right. It all depends on if the property brings in money, and that's what the analytics are going to say. Stranger Things brought in money, merchandising, and brought in the audience.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
because
IP,
of merchandising is why they kept it going for so long.
The Warner Brothers IP that they have, especially Harry Potter, that's going to be the big one in the next 10 years. That's going to be the IP that's going to bring in the eyes. It's going to bring in the seats to sit down in the living room and watch television. This is where we're at right now. This is Friday. The deal was just announced this morning. We'll talk about it next week more. I'm sure more stuff will come out about it.
One last thing I want to say is with the HBO shows, there is a very, 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 very large gap in the quality of Netflix shows and HBO shows. Yes. Stranger Things aside, of course. And one of their highest rated shows and one of their most popular shows, because of the quality of it, they canceled after the second season because it didn't fit with them analytically. That worries me. So like I say, we'll see if they keep Warner Brothers separate. I'm hoping I hope that's what's happening. And then they can
Netflix
use Warner Brothers library for Netflix's library. Yeah, you would think.
You would hope Netflix would learn from Warner Brothers Studios how to do this. Yes. I mean, 100 years of history, doing it right for 100 years. You kind of would hope they kind of mirror that a little bit. Maybe take stuff that Netflix is not great at and combine it.
I mean,
who knows?
The biggest bright side to this whole thing for me now, as I think about it, is they just wrote the entire outline for the studio season 2.
I was going to say, it sounds like a movie or a mini-series that we've seen recently. It seems like one of those types of movies that's happening right now in real life. But yeah, we'll talk about more. There's going to be more about this coming out. The deal's going to be done by the end of the month. But this is going to be a long-term. Once this hits the Department of Justice and they go after them for antitrust or all of that stuff, there's going to be a lot of red flags up about how this is going to affect Hollywood, how it's going to affect the monopoly of streaming services and everything of Hollywood in general. And all that's going to come out of this. It's going to be, it's going to be crazy. And we'll talk all about that on the podcast, of course. But let's get into the news. The rest of the news. This is the biggest thing we had to talk about it. Talk about some deaths this week. Rest in peace to Udo Kier. I don't know how to say his name, but you've seen him in a lot of stuff. Mostly for me, Ace Ventura. But he's been in a lot of other movies. He's 81 years old. He died this week. Rest in peace to Larry.
Oh God!
If you're a wrestling fan. If you're an animal lover, Larry was CM Punk and AJ Lee's dog, who's been on TV, has action figures and everything. He died this week. Rest in peace to him. Just came out yesterday. Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa. Don't know the name, I'm sure, but you know this guy. He's in everything. He's an Asian actor in every Asian movie for the last 30, 40 years. Mostly known for Mortal Kombat, playing the Shao Kahn. Was it Shao Kahn or I can't remember.
He was not Shao Kahn. He was fucking
the other one.
Shang
Tsung. Yeah. But he was in that. Of course, the iconic lines from that movie from him. He's the one that brought all the warriors together for the Mortal Kombat tournament in the 1995 movie. Also in Man in the High Castle, great show on Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
He was 75. He's been in a lot of stuff. You've seen his face. You've seen him.
I think that was the first big show on Amazon too, if I remember correctly. It was like the first one they launched.
It was.
They did Prime. It was
the big binge. Yeah, the big binge watching show. So rest in peace to him. He just passed away yesterday. In the comic book world, Kevin Smith's mom died. Grace Smith. She passed away. Most notably in his movie, she played the milkmaid in Clerks, the one that goes through all the expired milks in Clerks. But she did pass away. She's had a long battle with health issues over the years, and she did pass away. The family surrounding her earlier in the week. So rest in peace to her. Kevin Smith, his father died around 2003, I think. So his mom always been a proponent for him, always been Team Kevin all the way. So he always talks poetically about her. And
she was my favorite part of She was my favorite part of the documentary, the Clerk documentary, is anytime she was there talking about Kevin. Yeah, RIP to her.
Yeah, rest in peace to her. Let's get into the rest of the news. Apple TV. There's this French thriller that's come out in December called The Hunt. And the creator of the show earlier in the month got accused of ripping off the whole entire story from a novel, which was previously adapted into another movie called The Hunt from 1974. For some reason, this slipped through the cracks. Apple TV had no idea about it. The show was already produced, already made, and they pulled it from the schedule, pulled it from Apple TV completely for plagiarizing, for threats of lawsuits and everything. So the show's not coming out. But it's crazy that a show went this far into production, into almost being released, where it got ripped right out of the schedule completely, and they just ripped the deal out because they were afraid it was too close to the other story. But yeah, you don't hear that too often. But yeah, Far Cry TV show was announced on FX and Hulu. Noah Hawley, who did Alien Earth, and Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh, by the way, his name is Rob Mack now. He changed his name. Did you know that?
Yep, it's officially. Yeah, I think in
Legally,
the last season or maybe it the last two seasons, on the credits it said Rob Mack instead of McElhenney.
Far Cry. Ever play it? I've never played a game of Far Cry. I know a lot of people love that game.
They're fucking fun. They're a lot of fun.
But yeah, they're going to do every season going to be tackling a new setting similar to what the games are, I guess. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that game's a lot of fun. You'd like them.
Okay, cool. Netflix, speaking of them, Star Search is being rebooted, adding Anthony Anderson as the host, premiering in January.
He's a good host. I like him.
A lot of stars got their start on Star Search back in the day. Mm-hmm. Just to name a few: Adam Sandler, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Kevin James, Martin Lawrence, Backstreet Boys, Dave Chappelle, Justin Timberlake, Beyonce.
Is it like a talent show?
Start on there. Yeah, Star Search was the big one back in the day before.
Is it like the whole 90s. Season to like break it down, or is it like per episode that they find somebody?
It was episode to episode. Do you remember who hosted the original? Do you remember who hosted the original?
Bob
Ed McMahon.
Oh,
Ed McMahon.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah. Okay.
That was the original Star Search. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's coming out in January 13th of 2026 on Netflix. Joining the cast as Aunt Ophelia in Wednesday season 3, it was teased in season 2, is Eva Green. Eva Green's joining the cast of Wednesday season 3. So yeah, that was pretty good. I have that in the wrong spot. Kendrick Lamar and South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone aren't ready to reveal their live action comedy. It was removed. The Paramount has removed it from the schedule. This is a movie that about a guy who was I believe he was a war reenactor of a slave. I can't remember the exact story about it, but Kendrick Lamar was in charge of it. But it was taken off the schedule. It's supposed to come out March 20th. Not sure when that's going to come out. But yeah, Chad Powers been renewed for season 2 on Hulu. We got a very first poster of Euphoria coming out in April of next year, season 3. We got Zendaya there. So yeah, got a brand new poster for a brand new documentary coming out on The Counting Crows on HBO. Comes out on December 18th, talking about that. Bill Simmons producing that. May watch that because I do like him. Assassin's Creed. Speaking of Netflix, Assassin's Creed is going to have a series, and they cast Toby Wallace. I don't know who he is, but I'm not even sure who he's going to be playing. If he's going to be playing the assassin or not, but I do like those games. I don't think I've even seen the full movie with Michael Fassbender all the way through, but yeah, Assassin's Creed. I would love to see how that series turns out. If it's anywhere close to the games, that'd be awesome. And Bert Kreischer's Netflix series, Free Bert, is going to be coming out in January. They released some first look pictures of that. Cannot wait. I love Bert. Also today, Netflix. A lot of Netflix news today. Cillian Murphy, a poster for Peaky Blinders movie titled The Immortal Man, that came out today, coming out on March 20th. I'm going to finish the last season I haven't watched yet. And I'm going to watch this movie when it comes out.
Again, in select cinemas. I fucking hate that phrase.
Yeah, 2 weeks before it comes out on Netflix. So yeah. But that's probably that's a fear. That's a legitimate fear. Barry Coogan in this movie as well. So yeah, I cannot wait to see this. Vought during Thanksgiving, the boys related Twitter pages released a Homelander themed Thanksgiving post where they pardon a Lucky Starlighter. Instead of pardoning a turkey, they pardon a starlighter. And that leads up to the new posters for The Boys last season with Homelander and what's his name and final season coming soon posters. Looks very apocalyptic, like something's going on with Homelander dropping nukes on the world or doing something, but very exciting. Get into the movie news of the week. Donald Trump personally pressed Paramount, the owners, to make Rush Hour 4. This news came out while we were gone, but Rush Hour 4 is
not
happening.
Anymore. I don't think it is, because you know who owns Rush Hour? Warner Brothers.
No. Oh, I had no idea.
Warner Brothers owns Rush Hour. They were going to distribute it for Paramount at this request, and then
that would be petty.
Netflix.
That would be fucking petty.
That was what it was. It's owned by New Line Cinema, technically, which is owned by Warner Brothers. So I don't know what's going to happen now. But Jackie Chan's fucking 71 years old. And the only appeal to those movies, though, is him doing all of his own stunts. I don't know if there'd be, I mean, by the time they start filming, he'll be 73.
Right, yeah. Oh, my God. He still does it, though.
He does.
In the recent years, he's done a lot of his own stunts.
Yep.
He's in charge of a lot of movies, too. Stunts. I think it was stunts for, what was the one we were just talking about recently? He was doing the stunts for a movie that had a lot of heavy stunts. He was in charge of, I think it was a Marvel movie. I don't remember what it was.
Okay. Maybe it wasn't Shang-Chi.
It
might have been.
No, Spider-Man. It was Spider-Man because Daniel Craig was.
Right, yeah.
He was doing the stunts. He was his stunt company's in charge of the stunts.
And the new Spider-Man. Yep.
It also announced, Sony Pictures announced that the Men in Black film new one is currently in development. Bad Boys for Life writer is in charge of it. And Will Smith is not attached. They actually go out to say in the article that he's not attached to it, but he's going to have time to read the new script and see if he wants to be a part of it. But
just reboot it. Just reboot it. I know they tried that before, but just reboot it well. You know, like maybe have him appear, maybe to pass the baton, but just reboot it.
Yeah. Skylar Gisondo, who played Jimmy Olsen in the new Superman, and Marcelo Hernandez, who's in SNL, is going to be cast as Fiona and Shrek's sons in the new Shrek movie, Furcus and Farkle. It comes out June of 2027, so it's going to be a while, but yeah. Cannot wait for that movie. Great movies. First one is classic. They're all pretty good, though. And we'll talk about Bond a little bit. Big rumor this week was Callum Turner, who was in the Fantastic Beasts movies. That's what I know him from.
And I know him from that show that with Austin Butler on Apple TV by the people that did Band of Brothers. And Spielberg produced it. I know him from that show.
But they're saying that he's a top choice for Denny to play Bond in the 007 franchise. Have you seen anything about this other than that?
Love it.
Great actor. Great appeal. Yeah.
You know who he's dating?
No.
Dua Lipa. Is that her name?
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
So I love this choice. Because it's like somebody who's been in stuff, but not like Aaron Taylor Johnson, who has been in the zeitgeist for 15 years. It's like somebody who's been around, but kind of like Corn Sweat. Like he's been around, he's done things, but for the most part, nobody knows who he is. So it's basically an unknown. I like that choice a lot.
Yeah. James Cameron says Avatar Fire and Ash will end the first Avatar saga. Avatar 4 and 5 are going to be their own saga. He also said on the red carpet they're not guaranteed. This is considered the end of this story, and if he continues it, he will continue with 4 and 5, and that will be its own separate saga and complete the story. He's talked a lot about Terminator recently. He's talked a lot about other projects that he wants to do, and how many years has this movie taken from his life of creating? Look, 25 years now? Something. 20,
and we also want him
least.
To do something else. We also want him to do something else. I've enjoyed them because the theater is an experience. And if nothing else, these movies are an experience. I've seen each of them once, except for when we rewatched the first one before the second one came out. I'll probably never rewatch the second one or the first one again. But they're great to go once, see in theater. It's like going on a roller coaster, have a good time. Yep. And then hopefully get back to fixing Terminator. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. Terminator is one of those franchises that needs repair.
Or create something else, because The man's a genius. He's a goddamn genius. Create something else. He's also 73 years old. So.
Yeah, not much time there to do it. You're right. Paramount has set the release dates for Sonic spin-off movie coming out on December 22nd, 2028, saying it's going to be some sort of a big, huge team-up movie of all the Sonic characters. Who knows? And the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live-action movie coming out November of that year in 2028. Top Gun 40th anniversary coming out next year in May of 2026. So yeah, big news out of Paramount. Leslie Odom Jr. is set to write and star in a horror film adapted from a 2024 Rolling Stone article, Dance with the Devil, about Sammy James Davis Jr. and his ties to the Church of Satan. Leslie Odom Jr., of course, from Hamilton, played Aaron Burr. Kind of looks like him. Great singer, too. He was in the movie where he played Sam Cooke. I can't remember. It was on Amazon. It was a great movie, though.
Was that Amazon or Netflix?
I believe it's Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Vin Diesel going to star and write in a live-action Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie for Mattel. Okay, interesting. Quentin Tarantino making big news this week. Oh, Kevin, you're gone. I do not know where you went. Hold on, please. I'm going to pause just for a second. That was interesting. You back?
I'm back, yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
That was weird. Lost signal might have dropped for a second on my end or yours. I don't know.
Okay. Quentin Tarantino made a lot of news this week. That's where we're going to continue. Yuki's Revenge is a chapter of Kill Bill that was never filmed. Going to be exclusive to Fortnite. I believe that came out. Did it come out today or coming out this weekend?
It's
continuation. Yeah.
Because I got the battle pass and I can play as her.
Okay, yeah, so they come out today, but it follows a continuation of that story of her character hunting down the bride. Of course, Uma Thurman returns as the bride in it. It's animated. It's coming out today, or comes out. I think it actually came out.
Yeah, because
last weekend.
Today, today the 5-hour cut of Kill Bill dropped.
Okay, that's what it was.
So that's why. Yep.
In other Quentin news, he released his top 20 best movies of the 21st century.
I've had enough of this guy this week, but let's get to it.
Let's get into it. The top 20, I'll get into this quickly. Some of these movies I love. West Side Story, I love that movie. He praised that movie highly. Cabin Fever.
Love it. Eli Roth.
You love it. Eli Roth. Moneyball, great fucking movie.
Great.
Chocolate. Chocolate. Is that chocolate or chocolate? I have no idea.
I think it's chocolate.
Devil's Rejects. Great.
Love
movie.
that. Love that.
The Passion of the Christ. I have not seen it. It's on my list to watch on the podcast eventually. I understand it. School of Rock. Awesome. Love that movie. Jackass the movie. For what it is, great theatrical.
That makes sense. Knowing Quentin, that makes sense as to why that's on the list.
Big Bad Wolves. I don't know what that is.
No fucking clue.
No idea. Number 11, Battle Royale. And it went on to say that it was Hunger Games ripped off that movie. He says, I do not understand how the Japanese writer didn't sue Susan Collins, the author of Hunger Games, for every fucking thing that she owns. That was a big controversy that came out last week. This first half came out last week. And this week he came out with his top 10. Number 10, Midnight in Paris. I believe this is maybe Woody Allen. I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
Number nine, Edgar Wright, Shaun of the Dead. Yep. I love Hot Fuzz a lot more than Shaun of the Dead, but Shaun of the Dead has a cult.
They're both good. We both love Edgar Wright.
Yeah. Number 8, Mad Max Fury Road. Understandable. I expect that from him. Number 7, Unstoppable. What is that movie? Do you have any idea?
Is that the train movie about the soccer team overseas?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Go on. Number 6, Zodiac. Great fucking movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
Number 5, There Will Be Blood. I'm glad he had There Will Be Blood and not the one by the Coen brothers that came out around the same time that I always mix up. No Country for Old Men. That movie's so overrated, but There Will Be Blood is great.
Okay, real quick, Unstoppable.
Yes.
I was right on one aspect. It takes place on a train, but it has Denzel Washington and Chris Pine from 2010.
I see the trail. I see the poster in my head now. Yep. Yeah. But the thing about There Will Be Blood, And the big quote
my
that came
God.
from this is the Paul
Jesus.
Dano quote.
Fucking Christ.
He said, quote, "It's supposed to be a two-header, but Dano is weak sauce, man. He's just a weak, uninteresting guy, the weakest fucking actor in SAG." And he starts laughing. This is quoted. And Hollywood turned out and has been talking about praising on Twitter and every social media, praising Paul Dano as an actor.
That quote, the funny thing about that quote is the full quote. Did you see who he says would be better in the role?
No, I can't.
He went on to say, if Austin Butler had been the role, would have improved the movie tenfold. And I'm like, is he taking credit for Austin Butler's career because he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, even though he was famous before that? I just thought that was funny. For some reason, it seems like he has it out for Dano. And like you said, Hollywood has been coming to defend Paul Dano like no one's ever seen.
Yeah, the last 48 hours, everybody's been posting about he's a great actor.
The Baldwin guy, the one that shot the
Alec
person,
Baldwin, the video.
He came out and he was like, he made a video and he put it on his Twitter and he was like, "I just want to say Paul Dano's a fucking genius." And that was like the entire video. It was like 4 seconds. But yeah, somebody posted a meme and it was like that, the guy like waking up all groggy and his hair mess. It's like Paul Dano waking up saying, "What the fuck did I do?"
Right.
Because it's like just so out of the blue. I don't know it's because he gets so much praise for that movie and Tarantino saw it and was just like, it's not that good or it's overrated. Who the hell knows with Tarantino? But I did see the clip of Norm doing his impersonation.
Oh my God, it's fucking great. I'm glad that came out again this week.
Fucking hilarious. But Tarantino is a genius filmmaker with a certain style. It's a weird, like it just seemed like out of the blue, like it's not like The Rock would be like, Vin Diesel sucks, which like that is to be expected because they hate each other. We knew that. This just seems so random.
Right. Yeah. His top 4, Dunkirk, the only Nolan movie in this list.
Surprise,
Dunkirk,
because that's also one of my least favorites.
Yeah, mine too. Number 3, Lost in Translation. That's Bill Murray. I don't know if I've ever seen that movie. Toy Story 3. He's always had high praise for Toy Story 3.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, he said that they should never made a Toy Story 4 or 5 because
I agree.
And Black Hawk Down is his number 1. I don't think I've ever seen Black Hawk Down.
That's an odd choice. Have you seen the cast? Because I think that's the movie with
Josh Hartnett.
Is that who's in it? I think so. Yeah, and I think it has like the supporting cast has like a very, very young like Tom Hardy.
Cool.
Cillian Murphy in it too? I can't remember, but like there's a bunch, like if you look at like the supporting characters, there's a bunch of people that like became really famous afterwards.
Cool. Yeah, that's Quentin talking shit. Macaulay Culkin talks about Home Alone, saying that he would love to do a sequel, shares an idea. Kevin McAllister faces off against his son. He's either widowed or divorced, and he's raising a kid all alone, and pretty much the son goes after him like he went after the burglars back in the day. Just him talking about wanting to do it is exciting enough. I don't care what it is.
I much prefer the original idea that he and Ryan Reynolds came up with, Stoned Alone, which would have been produced by Ryan Reynolds and starring Macaulay Culkin, where essentially he's just getting high on Christmas because he has no family, and burglars break into his house. To me, that sounds infinitely better than this, but I do like the idea. And that was greenlit, and then COVID happened, so it got shut down. And then Disney bought Fox, and Ryan had to go do Deadpool, stuff like that. But yeah, just the fact that he's talking about Home Alone, it's exciting. I love that movie. I can't wait to watch it soon.
Yeah. The first of 2 stories about Scarlett Johansson this week. We'll get into the other one at the end of the show, but the first one was that she's going to be starring in a new Exorcist movie. Not sure when it's coming out, but she did sign for that. That was last week, and we'll get into the new one that came out yesterday at the end. But and Zack Snyder, this news was crazy this week. Tig Notaro, comedian who was in one of Zack's movies. I can't remember which one it was. I don't remember which one it was, but she's a comedian who's kind of out of it.
She wrote
I don't remember what it was. No.
I forget. I saw it mentioned today too.
I know she's a comedian, but the announcement that came out this week is that she's writing a movie called Hot Lesbian Action with Zack Snyder. She is a known lesbian. She has it in her act. And basically the premise of it is It's called Deviants. Takes place in some old timey days, like some closeted deviants. I have no idea, no idea about this. I know the Snyderverse and everything kind of took it on, but
this is going to be interesting.
yeah,
it feels like this is something I'm told by them that Zach's above doing, with the way they act about James Gunn projects. But I mean, it's Zach. I'm here for it. If he wants to do it, you know me, I'll watch anything Zach does. I enjoy his visual style, his flair, his slow-mo grain falling to the ground.
Just speed it up a little bit, Zach.
3.5 hour movies that could be an hour 20. You know, it's fine.
Yeah. Let's speed it up just a tad so I don't have to sit there for 4 hours.
Just lay off the slow-mo just a bit.
Yes, yeah, that'd be nice. Josh Gad announced that they finished filming Spaceballs 2. Brand new picture of the cast, crew, rap party, all that. Cannot fucking wait for this movie.
Who's your most anticipated of next year?
This 2027. I don't know.
Oh, it's 2027. Okay, I thought it was next year.
I have no idea. It's my most anticipated in the future. Yeah, besides Marvel stuff. Yeah,
probably Secret Wars and this that we know about,
and DC
and
stuff,
Superman.
Besides all that, yeah. And Fortnite. Kevin mentioned this off pod, kind of mentioned it on pod, but Fortnite,
I said I was playing Fort, and you thought I was building a fort with pillows.
I thought you were building a fort. I was like, what are you talking about? But they did release some skins of Marty McFly, and they have a whole new Back to the Future thing. Did it come out today? Is that what the whole thing was?
It's been up for about a week. It's been up for about a week, and I think it's because the Kill Bill stuff, and it's like all around like the anniversary of Back to the Future and stuff like that. Like the new season revolves around Kill Bill. And they always have extras like this for new seasons.
But I know you can buy a whole bunch of articles of skins for the game as Marty. You can get the guitar, you can get get a whole bunch of stuff from Back to the Future in the game. Never played Fortnite. I think I might have actually played like 10 minutes of it and just got bored with it. But yeah,
you gotta play with friends or it's boring.
Yeah. Anaconda movie comes out I think Christmas Day, but they did release the popcorn buckets for Anaconda.
That looks
it's a big huge snake in a bucket. These buckets, when is this gonna fall off? These bucket things.
It's the only way that theaters can make money these days.
Right. It's crazy.
Like they charge $50. I mean, I got this one over here. You probably can't see it soft pod, but like the Superman one cost me like $45, and I was happy to pay it.
The Galactus was $80. I had opportunity to get one, and I did not. I mean, it was too expensive.
Well, the thing about that is, like, people are like, "What are you gonna do? Sit there with it on your lap?" And it's like, well, one, if you buy it, you don't have to get popcorn in it. They'll give you a regular popcorn bucket. Two, you can just walk into the theater and buy that and walk out. Like, I got my Superman popcorn bucket before the movie because I wasn't even thinking, and I was just like, "Oh, I'll just go drop it in my car" because I got my popcorn in the regular bucket. This one looks
let's get into it. Looks horrible. Let's get into some swag.
Swag stuff we all get.
Come on, son. You know that's right.
Lots of pop figures. We got Muppet Babies from the early 90s, late 80s.
I loved Muppet Babies.
Me too. The Exorcist. The Exorcist. We just watched that movie. Pop figure for that. Michael Jackson. That figure looks awesome from Beat It. Michael Jordan, the 3-peat, looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And Frankenstein. We got brand new ones from the Frankenstein movie that came out later in November. The Guillermo movie. We got brand new pictures of the monster and Victor. So yeah, very cool. Marvel news for the week. Right now is at CCXP currently happening this weekend. We're going to be getting some reveals this week, and we'll talk about next week. But we did get some so far. We've got the biggest one so far has been Spider Noir posters. And confirmation that there are going to be color releases and black and white releases of Spider-Man Noir.
Love it.
And Nicolas Cage is also confirmed to be Ben Reilly. The reason for that being is Marvel owns the rights to Peter Parker. And was Peter Parker in Across the Spider-Verse. And Nicolas Cage, of course, reprising the role, but he's coming in as Ben Reilly instead of Peter Parker. Ben Reilly was Scarlet Spider in the 90s, the clone of Spider-Man, so it makes sense. They had another name they could use. Another Marvel Studios update. Doorman, character that was in the Great Lakes Avengers, is going to be part of Wonder Man. He's going to be a mutant founding member of the Great Lakes Avengers with Hawkeye, Mockingbird, Squirrel Girl, whole bunch of other characters. Big Bertha, as you can see there. Yeah, it's a crazy lineup. But Squirrel Girl probably the most popular, and I think Deadpool was a part of that team as well at some points. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. And the other Scarlett Johansson news.
Real quick.
Okay, good.
The Exorcist movie that she signed up for, it's got to be the one that Flanagan's doing.
Okay.
Because remember, this Exorcist got bought for like $400 million, and then they spent $200 million on their first movie, and it made like $40 million. I think they went to Flanagan to be like, "Can you like try to get us some money on this next one?" So that's got to be Flanagan's Exorcist project, which he's doing now that he's done with filming the Carrie show. Okay,
makes sense. But the other Scarlett Johansson casting news came out yesterday. She's in talks for the Batman 2. Zoe Kravitz not returning as Catwoman, but Scarlett Johansson rumored to be playing the Phantasm. Mask of the Phantasm was an animated movie based off the animated series.
Some say it's the best Batman movie.
Some saying it's the best Batman movie. I love the animated series. I don't think I've seen that movie in 25 years. Whenever that came out,
I almost put it on the other night. I think that would be a good choice, and you can always adapt it differently on screen, even though because we've already seen the story. But the other one that would be interesting would be, I mean, they say it's a love interest of Batman,
Vicky
so that's
Vale,
why they went with that. Vicky Vale, I've heard, and Mr. Freeze's wife would also be interesting, Nora.
Oh my God, that would be amazing! You just made my fucking
Twitter.
Day.
I put that out on Twitter, and nobody seemed to reply.
I'm gonna repeat it to my 5 followers later, Kevin. I'll reply to it.
I think that's
Discord. Amazing.
It could have been Discord, but yeah, that was one that me and somebody I talked to on Twitter, Comic Cuts, were talking about, and we both agreed it'd be awesome.
I didn't think of that till you said that, but that would be amazing because that's what I've been saying from all along. This would be the perfect continuation of that story to have.
Call me Kev Cody and Snyder.
The inside. The original role that was turned down, Emma Stone turned that down, and Scarlett Johansson jumped in.
Yes.
And when she found out about it, and asked her publicist and everybody to jump in, I want that role. So
she took less money. Emma Stone turned it down because she wanted her rate, and Scarlett, I think she said up to 15% less than what I'm usually owed. She's like, I want to work with Matt Reeves, so she's done having fast food. Done having fast food comic books. Now she's working on steak.
She's very much in tune to what the audience wants to see. She was big on the Jurassic Park stuff.
She was the reason that got made.
Yeah, that's the reason why that movie got made. So, Supergirl. Big into Supergirl news this week, and we're gonna get a trailer probably Monday by the looks of it. But Matthias Skarhertz, I don't know how to say his name, but he's gonna be playing Krem of the Yellow Hills in the upcoming Supergirl movie. He has been sentenced to 6 months in prison. Good to get it done now, so when he's promoting the movie next year, he can be out of prison. But
he won't be out of prison to promote the movie. But he'll probably end up out in like 2 months, is my guess.
Right, yeah.
But yeah,
all for driving without a valid license.
He has,
but that's not
OUIs.
all. I have it all here. Yes, has already been convicted by 11 times in the past. Was arrested on a separate incident last week and refused to take a breathalyzer. And previously banned from driving in Belgium after caught driving while on drugs. So he's had a history. Yes. So yeah.
Method actor.
And Man of Tomorrow, who's going to be playing Brainiac? And names came out this week. James Gunn has not talked about it. Well, I kind of have an idea who I want. First of all, who is Claes Bang? He's the guy on the top left there. I don't know who he is.
No idea.
He's been in.
Nobody seems to know anything he's been in.
Matt Smith. We talk about him all the time, where he picks weird projects. Great in Doctor Who. But the one I want is Sam Rockwell. I love Sam Rockwell. I can never remember his name. Yeah, I can never remember his name though.
Sam Rockwell was probably the first. Hey, it's that guy that I knew in Hollywood. Because and his name is very presidential, Sam Rockwell.
It is,
but he is a fucking fantastic actor.
Everything
obviously he was in Marvel, right?
Yep.
So yeah, either him or I think Smith has the best look, but then again, it's all probably gonna be CGI anyways.
It's all CGI. Who cares?
I mean, he just
We're
looks
talking
like
voice at this point.
Yeah, he just looks like he'd be a Brainiac. But Rockwell's a great actor too. I'd be happy with either of those.
I would just love him to be in the DCU. I don't care
Yep.
where he's at. Sam Rockwell being attached to
Yeah.
anything DCU at this
We're
point would
fans.
be great.
Yep.
And speaking of Supergirl, we got the costume.
It's perfect.
CCXP currently happening. It looks perfect. It looks amazing. Comic book accurate. Everything. Got the first logo as well.
Yep.
Cannot wait. And finally, in news, "Call Me by Blondie" is being featured during this display at this Comic-Con happening in Brazil. And it's being played in the background. They have a little jukebox with some music, and this is one of the songs. So it's going to be part of the trailer, probably. We'll find out more about
Excellent.
that later, probably next week. But when we talk about it, hopefully come out Monday. But yeah, that's it for news this week. Cannot wait to talk about new trailers coming out. We'll talk about the penultimate episode of Welcome to Derry. Cannot wait for that on Sunday. Pluribus, we'll talk about that if you catch up tonight or this weekend. Cannot wait to talk about that. Nevermore, The Raven Effect. Kevin, what's going on with this movie? We need it. This is something that came out on the 18th of November. We're very excited to see it, but it's not easy to access without paying $15 to watch it.
And if
Um,
I bought stuff on Amazon, that'd be one thing, but I don't buy anything on Amazon Prime. So
I
it'd be dumb
never
for me to
buy.
just buy.
Yeah,
It'd be done for me to just buy one thing on it.
Yeah.
When I have iTunes,
I
and
always
hopefully,
buy iTunes.
like I said, there was a documentary that went to Amazon, and after 4 or 5 months, it ended up on iTunes. So I hope the same thing happens.
if we get our hands on that, we'll watch it. But the big thing we're going to review next week, fully review, probably spoiler review. We'll do it at the end of the show. But Wake Up Dead Man, the Knives Out sequel. I'm going to watch it Friday morning. We're going to record Friday afternoon, and we will talk all about that movie and the franchise in general and everything. And that's going to be the big review next week. So thank you, everybody, for listening. 200 episodes in. Podcast that we never thought would happen, never could get this far. It's past the 200 threshold. We'll be back next week for 201. Crazy. We will talk to everybody then. Until then, peace.
Later.
Deuces.
We're the Geek Blurb crew, here to enlighten you. Talking all things geeky, from movies to wrestling to our podcast is the place where you wanna be for all the latest news and nostalgia from the 80s and 90s. We review comic book flicks and sci-fi hits, riding the wave of action movies with all the cool bits. From Iron Man to Star Wars, we cover it all. And when it comes to wrestling, we never drop the ball. We never drop the ball.